Wakizashi's Tea House. Konbanwa minasan, it's Gray from Wakizashi's Tea House over in Japan. How you doing? You good? You genki? I'm pretty genki, thank you. I've had a glass of red wine, so I'm feeling pretty good. Okay, enough about me. Let's get on to tonight's review. I'm reviewing The Amazing Spider-Man, issue 895. Can you believe that? That's the legacy issue. That's counting it from the beginning to where we're up to now. It's actually something like volume 5 or 6, issue 1. It's been relaunched as a new issue. The creative team is Zeb Wells writing and John Romita Jr. coming back to Marvel on the art. So, what did I think of this issue, and is it any good? Well, if you saw my review last night of the Justice League, the Death of Justice League issue, you probably see that I wasn't that happy with that. It was a bit disappointing. It was a bit of a letdown, a bit of a big build up to nothing. This, on the other hand, I had such a good time with this issue. Now, for a little bit of background, I started my comic buying life basically with Amazing Spider-Man. Now, this was right back in the early 300s, I think it was, around the time when the black Spidey suit first came out, when you had Venom, the first appearance of Venom as this symbiote, this alien symbiote. So, you know, this is going back years and years, but I've got great memories of Spider-Man. I dropped off buying it for a long, long time. I became more of a Dark Knight Batman fan. So I know I've dipped back into it through the years. I had a bit of a look at the Nick Spencer run recently, but I wasn't sure. I thought it was like geared more for children. I don't know what you thought about that. But this, to me, this is like, wow, this is going back to Peter Parker, written as Peter Parker, you know, as I remember him. It's well written. It's a compelling story. There's a lot of focus on characters. The characters are all beautifully written by Zeb Wells. They have their voices. There's quite a few villains that I don't know here, so I'm looking forward to getting to know them, who they are. It's great seeing Tombstone as the kind of main protagonist in this one. You know, there's a real gangster feel to the story. I think that's what Zeb Wells is setting up. So the art, John Romita Jr. can be a little bit hit or miss. Now, no offense, you know, he's a great artist. I'd love to be able to draw like him, but I don't know, sometimes it doesn't quite work. For example, he did some work on Batman, and I wasn't that keen on his take of Batman, but I think it works with Spider-Man, with this kind of story and these characters. So, yeah, I dug the art. I liked it. What I did like was it was like 48 pages. Now, this is $5.99, so it's more expensive than usual, but you get 48 pages, and I think it's well worth it. There's some great action scenes in here. Lovely colouring by, who is it? I think it's Scott Hanna doing the colours. Or is it? No, sorry, Scott Hanna's the inker. Marcio Menes is the colourist. So, yeah, it's good. It's a good combination. Let me show you a little brief look at the art from inside. There's just a shot here of Spidey swinging through the traffic in New York. I mean, pretty simple, pretty minimalist picture there, but yeah, I just had a great time with this issue. I can't even describe well why. I just really enjoyed the story. As I say, after reading the Justice League issue and then reading this, I had so much more fun with this. It was a much better written story. So to sum up, yeah, I'm in. Zeb Wells and the creative team, they've pulled me in. I'm here for the ride. I want to see where this goes. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. I'm excited about Spider-Man again. I feel like I'm young again. Maybe it's the wine talking, but yeah, there we go. So I recommend it. Give it a try. Now what I'll do, as I always do, I'll give a bit of a story summary, but I'm only going to do about half of the issue. I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm definitely not going to spoil the ending because, there's been people talking about the ending, the internet's lighting up about it, well, Spidey fans anyway. So, as always, please keep watching and let me know what you think at the end. Okay, here we go. This issue opens in a smoking crater outside York, Pennsylvania. We see Peter Parker, the Amazing Spider-Man, on his knees, his costume in tatters, holding a red spider and screaming. Next, we jump ahead 6 months and we catch up with Peter and his Aunt May. They're having dinner in a small apartment in Queens, and she's telling Peter that she knows there's something that's happened to him, something is holding back from her. The scene then shifts to Alphabet City. It looks like Peter returning to his apartment, but there's a man dressed in a black suit waiting for him outside his apartment. He's sat on the steps and he's talking about medical statements and medical balance. Peter's annoyed. Are you the one who called my aunt? Of course, the man can't tell him that detail. She doesn't have any more money. Don't call again. Inside the apartment building, and he bumps into a friend, Randy. Hey Randy. It looks like Randy wants a proper conversation with Peter. He's not asking directly, but he's hinting at, you dropped off the face of the earth without a word. I've been paying the rent for this apartment, and you know what it did to your Aunt May? And Peter again gets a little bit angry. He's asking, what do you want? Randy tells Peter the news that he's about to propose to his girlfriend, Janice, but he's worried about her father. He doesn't say who the father is, but we get the impression that he's dangerous because of all the murders he's done. So Randy wants Peter to go with him, or at least to show up there and make sure he's okay. We then see Peter inside his apartment, sighing, looking at his phone. On the phone it says, Mary Jane Watson, and he's thinking about calling, but he puts his phone away instead. Switch scenes to a gangland meeting. We have Tombstone meeting with someone called the Rose. I've just learned that the Rose is Kingpin's kid. Hammerhead's there and a group of villains that make up Tombstone's muscle. Crash! Somebody bursts through a door. It's Digger. Who's Digger? He looks a bit like Killer Croc from Batman. The Rose is trying to buy something from Tombstone, and so Tombstone sets up a meet. Then we get a view of the different characters here. Do you know them? Do you know the names? I only know Hammerhead. Back to Peter Parker's apartment, and of course he's going to go out to check his friend, make sure he's alright. So, he leaves the costume on the bed, steps outside, starts complaining how hot it is, and we see, flame on, it's Johnny, the Human Torch. But things seem strained between them. They're not getting on well. There are references to things that have happened in the past which I've missed, of course. Stay away from me, Johnny. At the restaurant, Randy asking permission to marry Tombstone's daughter seems to have gone off okay. Well, he's still in one piece, isn't he? In the background we see Peter peeping through the window, checking he's alright. But then, Peter makes his way to the back of the restaurant and he sees, who's this? White Rabbit and a bunch of goons. Thank goodness he went back for his costume. We get to see Spidey swinging through the traffic in New York looking like Spider-Man should. Peter follows White Rabbit to the meet. It turns out they're trying to sell Goblin gliders. Spider-Man? Uh-oh, he's been spotted. It's a bust! Digger! Peter's spider sense starts tingling when suddenly two green clawed hands come up from below and grab him and pull him down, start to smother him. Hey, Digger! He's got 5 seconds before he passes out. Okay, I don't want to spoil it, so I'll skip ahead past a really good action scene between Digger and Spider-Man and White Rabbit and the goons. Look at this scene here. We've got Peter calling Mary Jane. MJ, hi, Peter, you've got to stop this. What's happened between them? She hangs up on him after saying, don't call me again. Right, I'm going to finish my story summary there because I don't want to spoil any more, but there's still so much in this issue that happens. It's fantastic, you won't believe it. You've got to keep reading, you've got to see what goes on, and you've got to see the ending. It's a shocker. Okay, that's it for my review of Spider-Man. Issue 895, if you can believe that. Unbelievable. And here's a preview of issue 2. It's not looking good for Peter, is it? Okay, so I'd love to hear what you think. If you can leave a comment, that'd be great. Please let me know what you thought about the story, what you think about the art, and, are you interested in Spider-Man? Have you been buying it for a long time? Are you new to it? Or are you a returning reader like me? Okay, as always, thanks so much for watching. This is Gray from Wakizashi's Tea House signing off for the night. Matane. Wakizashi's Tea House. Please subscribe.